I've been wanting to make this video topic for a while, ever since like those screenshots came out, and I just never really got around to doing it because life is just, like I said, just has not been giving me the chance to sit down and breathe. So we're gonna go through each character in Kingdom Hearts, and I'm going to bring out their context and their likelihood of being in Kingdom Hearts 4. So we're gonna start with Sora. He's the main character. It's a numbered Kingdom Hearts game. It's Kingdom Hearts 4. There's never been a Kingdom Hearts game without Sora being the main playable character, at least for the numbered ones. You know, we have our other games like Birth by Sleep and such, but he's in the trailers already. Duh. Sora is 100% playable in Kingdom Hearts 4. I feel like this is a no-brainer. So getting Sora out of the way, I feel like that's just a really easy no-duh slam dunk. For 100% playable is going to be Mickey Mouse. We have seen King Mickey appear in Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots already. We see the one where he's showing up in Scala and Kylum, and it's a third-person view as if he was playable. The thing that's a little concerning about that always gets me about the screenshot is that Kingdom Hearts 3 Mickey pose that he's in is kind of the same one that he's in Remind, where he's basically slowly walking towards the keyhole. You know the scene I'm talking about where he's like walking towards the keyhole, he's in that stance, he's crouched. We know he's playable, but to what sense, we don't know. Might have just put that model in there to just kind of establish the fact that he is playable. So we know for a fact that he is playable because of Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots. So that's another 100% playable. Cool. Now this is where things start to get a little dicey. Riku, I'm going to put into the potentially playable tier. Reasoning for this is that he has been playable in every numbered Kingdom Hearts game except one. You know what I'm saying? It is likely that he is playable. I just don't really imagine that he wouldn't be, more so because he is just kind of the counterpoint to Sora. Is also on this mission in Kingdom Hearts 4 to go find him in this world. It would be really cool to get an opportunity to spend more time with him. And they made a whole playable build for him in Kingdom Hearts 3. He has a full moveset. He is fully playable in that sense. So if they carry him over, it's not really the hardest thing in the world for them to do. I feel like he's definitely potentially playable. I don't think he'll be like in the Dream Drop Distance level of it, where he has a whole campaign dedicated to himself. But I do believe he will be a playable for a chunk. Maybe there'll be like a section or where he's playable for a section away from Sora, or maybe a separate boss, but I definitely see being potentially playable. Now, Terra, this one right here, I'm going to be putting in the appearing only in cutscenes for support. What I mean by this is this character, and in this character sense being Terra, the support character, is more so going to be helping the main characters do what they need to do. So he might be appearing periodically in terms of, for example, helping locate Sora in the various realms. He might be showing us some cutscenes. We might get some Realm of Darkness stuff. I don't think he'll be playable. I don't think they'll give us an opportunity to pass the sticks to us. Terra in particular, in terms of the Birth by Sleep trio, is definitely just there to kind of assist whatever is going to be happening with the other characters, which I will be covering. So Terra right now, especially, he had his whole arc done. After the whole, Realm of Darkness, Secret of Darkness saga, when that was done, he basically had the most conclusive type story for a little bit. So I imagine he'd be on cooldown because he had a lot to do in the last saga. So he might be chilling right now. So I imagine he might be showing it up in some cutscenes, but he might be just kind of in the background, might have some lines of dialogue, might be fighting some Heartless, but not really pushing the narrative forward in the bigger sense the way other characters will. To add to the counterpoint for that, Ventus. He is appearing only in cutscenes, but he's definitely a character that is going to be pushing the plot forward. For example, Ventus is the main character that, in this case, Terra will be supporting. Ventus has a million things going on right now in terms of Kingdom Hearts, and they kind of glossed over it in the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, where they talked about his time in the Age of Fairy Tales and such, but that is a huge centerpiece for what's happening in the next saga. Ventus has a lot of beef with people in the past that he might need to be settling soon, and a whole part of his brain that he just don't even remember, which is something that they would definitely be exploring. I might put him in the potentially playable section. My only issue with this is that they would have to make him playable. There hasn't been a playable version of Ventus in the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine. I put him in this category particularly because I was like, okay, they might make him playable, but they would have to make a whole new moveset, which is not impossible for them to do. I hope they get an opportunity to do that, but Ventus is going to be a key part in all the Union Cross stuff. Like whatever they're doing with him is going to be a big part of Kingdom Hearts 4 and whatever moving forward. So he's probably going to be getting a lot of screen time, a lot of emphasis and focus on him connecting his time to the Age of Fairy Tales to the modern era, which we never got. We don't know why. We don't know why. Like, we know why he's here. If you've played the games, you know why. But like, now we're gonna see all of the consequences of the past potentially catching up to him. Aqua. So I'm gonna put Aqua in the pushing the plot forward point, mainly because of Kairi. As we know in Kingdom Hearts 3, at the end of it, we find out that Kairi is going to be, or Melody of Memory, Kairi is going to be training under Master Aqua. So that's going to be a big part of her experience. How big of a plot push it's going to be unknown. Her being a master, in fact, actually, I'll probably put her in support for that, because she's a master for a potentially better plot point coming forward. And she had a lot of stuff happen to her, the same with Terra in that sense, where but she's doing more than Terra support wise, because she's helping Kairi. You know, Terra's just kind of like, I'm out here doing whatever, call me if you need me. But you know, Aqua's actually like, I'm going to take Kairi and we're gonna start cooking, hopefully. Fingers crossed, please. Aqua, put her in the lab, I'm begging. Speaking of Kairi, I'm gonna throw her up in here right here. So Kairi is definitely in the potentially playable section for me, especially after her debut in Remind. They've really put a lot of effort and love into that moveset, you can tell. And for them to only use it once seems a little far-fetched in my opinion. I think this is something that they're going to be going back to, especially how diverse her moveset is. She does all these twirls and teleports with the light. Like, she has a very different moveset than like Riku and Sora ever had, right? Also, she's the homie of the main three. You would hope they were going to put her in there and like get her to lock in, especially with the whole like Master Aqua's training her. That's going to be huge. So I'm hoping we get an opportunity to play as Kairi, really go in there, go in Quadratum and start to cook for our boys. That's going to be huge. She has a major opportunity to do that, and hopefully this buff that she gets with Aqua is substantial enough to really make her, you know, be with the team, be a real full part of the trio again. Fingers crossed. Okay, Namine. So Namine has always been in the support category. She's never been playable. She's always doing big narrative stuff, but she's always been behind the scenes of any era of Kingdom Hearts, which is kind of boggling when you think about it. In the case of Namine though, I don't really know what she's doing in terms of the Kingdom Hearts 4 narrative. I mean, she has a deep connection with Sora and kind of like this, you know, light dark disconnection that they have because of Kairi or whatever. She might feel him out in the world out there somewhere, but I feel like Namine has done her part. She has done a fair amount of work. I feel like she's definitely going to show up for support, kind of, you know, like she always has. She's always cooking behind the scenes, and this is totally fine for her to be in the same position. I don't see her pushing any major plot points forward, because like I said, I feel like there's just a lot of other characters that got more stuff going on right now that we're going to have to be worrying about. So Namine's chilling. Okay, this one, Ericus is, I don't think he's appearing in the game. He might show up in like a flashback. Do I even count that though? I don't see the light ghost thing happening. I think we might get just reused cutscenes from Kingdom Hearts 3. I just feel like they did absolutely everything that they possibly could have with this character. You know, like his pupils have forgiven him for the awful things that he has done, and he has gone into the light with Xehanort. So like, what are we even doing with him no more? He's dead. He's like super dead. I don't know, maybe. It's Kingdom Hearts, you really never know. This guy right here, Lee's in Aventus boat right now. Lee right now is in a point where he is the most interesting out of all of his homies right now. The big part of his story is pushing towards this girl X that we got a tease of in Kingdom Hearts 3, that you got maybe in a couple cutscenes and maybe by reading the secret reports. But they talk about this girl who is being experimented on and essentially tortured in the depths of Hollow Bastion, or Radiant Garden, whatever you want to call it at the time, right? This girl, Lee, was trying to figure out, yo, what's up with this girl? We never really heard about it since, but there's stuff coming, obviously. So he's going to be playing a major role right now, a really, really big role in figuring out that whole thing. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of him we're going to be seeing in the future. It'd be cool if he was playable too. That would be gas. I would very much like to see that, but he got some narrative heat on him, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. Next up, we have Ansem the Wise. This is another one of those not appearing maybe in like a flashback kind of thing. I think when they talk about like the realm of darkness or the you know, the realms in general, he might show up and drop a bar. You know, maybe I'll put him in support because he will be present in a sense. He is like the king of Hollow Bastion, and that's kind of where they're cooking, where all this lab stuff is and where the, you know, the whole data analysis thing is. So having Hollow Bastion present means he's gonna be there. Yip-de-doo. You got your nepotism in Kingdom Hearts 4. Congratulations. This one is a little tough. So Xehanort is definitely showing up in Kingdom Hearts 4 because he's too important. Every character has been affected by his actions, right? I want to emphasize this. I have different Xehanorts on the list, by the way. I'll probably be talking about those later. I will be talking about those later, but listen. Xehanort, I feel like, will only be showing up in flashbacks. I don't think he'll be showing up in a new form. I think they've overplayed the whole haunting that he has played in the narrative before, even with like Riku and such. So I feel like he just might be there just to kind of remind us what has been and where we're going. So I feel like cutscenes only, just kind of filling in the gaps of, all right, this bad guy was here, but now we're dealing with something else. On the other hand, young Xehanort. This guy's different in a we might all be insane kind of way. There was this art piece a while back that was released that showed young Xehanort in a city type area holding an umbrella, kind of looking at the camera, kind of has, you know, that smile. He's just chilling there. What the hell is that? There could be a narrative reason for that, where maybe after he lost in Kingdom Hearts 3, he got sent back to his old time, or maybe it's a place of, I don't know. The point is that looks like a Japanese quadratum-esque location for that photo. It's just very weird to include that. He may appear again. We may encounter him in the young form once more. Maybe he'll have an entirely different life this time. Maybe he turned a new leaf, doing something new, and maybe he's trying to atone. Who knows? Point is, I do think young Xehanort in particular will return. I feel like the old man that we have been dealing with is cooked. I'm kind of going to put Ansem in that same way, where I don't think he's going to appear outside of like flashbacks. If they're really going to lean into Xehanort in terms of flashbacks, I think they would focus on the old man. Maybe flashbacks for Riku, because he has particular Ansem trauma. You know what I'm saying? Riku has his own thing going on. But Ansem's like, he's good. I feel like we're good. We don't really need to see him again. Okay, so this is the one that I think I need the most assistance with. Vanitas. I don't know. I need help with this one. So we know that everybody ends up returning after their fight in the Keyblade Graveyard, right? But does that mean he also came back too? That's the whole thing with Vanitas, is like you can do the whole Ventus plotline with no Vanitas, because the new Ventus plotline is the Union Cross stuff. Like Vanitas didn't exist until after the events of Union Cross. So they could have an entire Ventus arc with no Vanitas. Maybe like slight mention. There is the mention though that they did say in Dark Road that he was one of the original Darknesses. That is a good point. So he might be pulling up in a sense of like, I'm just here for the giggles. It's just we genuinely don't know. He might be the one shrouded in the most mystery. He's probably the easiest to come back because it's just like evil Sora, darkness. But like they I don't know. Is he gonna have a moment of redemption? Will there be a part of the narrative that tells us that even extreme darkness, ones that have zero light in it, can actually have a glimmer of it after all? I'm gonna put him in he might show up in some cutscenes, but he might push I don't know. I just don't know how he would push the plot forward. Like I said, I don't know. That's the whole, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's Kingdom Hearts. It's just Vanitas is so particular right here. Like he's in such a weird place. I don't know, but like I said, Ventus is doing a lot of work, and maybe they'll bring him back because Ventus is going to be a big part of the narrative. This is another one of those support type things where Vanitas is again a support character for Ventus. Okay, Hainer, Pence, and Olette. I didn't mean to put them categorized like that, just kind of how the files organize them. I don't even think we're seeing them. Like, I don't even think we'll see them at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might get like a shot of Twilight Town. We might get like a glimpse, but I feel like if they're gonna focus any more on that, they're gonna do like the trio. Like, you know, Xion, Axel, and Roxas, mainly. Like I said, they are support characters of support characters of support characters. They might show up for like a second. They might be there eating ice cream. They're not making moves in the sense like they were prior. So I feel like they're good. They're chilling. Xemnas is another category where I'm going to be putting him in the same place as Ansem, where he might be showing up again, but he's in a similar situation where that is just a version of Xehanort that is just, you know, that was his nobody. It's just gone now. Xehanort is gone now. There's no reason for us to be going backwards. He's just a phantom of the past. He might haunt Riku and Sora again in some way. Maybe Sora has a moment where he recognizes him or sees him, and just maybe it's a comforting look on his face after seeing a familiar face for so long. Like I said, we don't know nothing about this game. Xigbar, this is 100% the like up there character. This Xigbar, aka Luke Shu, aka Snake in a trench coat. Yeah, of course this dude is pulling up. Like we have so much to explore with him. He is easily one of the most interesting characters in Kingdom Hearts right now. So much happening. He's done so much. He has lifetimes of just slaying people and taking lives and becoming a real thorn to our Keyblade wielders. And his whole lore with the box, there's a lot of stuff going on with that. He's going to be very important. He's always been very important, but arguably now he is the most important that he has ever been, in my opinion. That's how I feel about it. He's Lushu. That's the guy with the lunchbox. We gotta go see Lushu. We got Xaldin. I feel like Xaldin is going to be in a similar position as anyone who is in the Hollow Bastion group, where they're only appearing in cutscenes. Heck, did he even talk? He didn't even talk in Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Am I tripping? Like, he didn't speak a line. He was just at the door being... I don't know if he grunted or did a head nod. He was just in the background. He might just be showing up in the background. Like I said, he didn't even really talk last time. And they hung it up. They did everything they needed to do with him. They don't seem like they're building up any more to do with him. He just seems like he's going to his life as a guard. Vexen is kind of in a similar situation. Hollow Bastion person, you know, a scientist. Probably helpful. Maybe they'll do something new with him because he's now using his atonement and maybe new science abilities for good. How much good, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm imagining now that we're seeing Vexen in a more positive light. He's going to be our middleman to understanding the realities. We have our Kingdom Hearts reality, and now we have our new Quadratum reality, and he's going to be really into that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be like, oh, what is this? He'll be like, so actually, this world and this world, they're not connected. I feel like he's going to be an exposition dump monster. I'm not going to hold you. And like, not a bad way either. So he's probably going to be right here between Namine and Ansem the Wise. You know what I'm saying? He's like, ooh, science. Like, let's cook. You know, he was all about the love of the game in that way. So I feel like he will definitely be pulling up in that way. Lexaeus, similar situation with Xaldin. You are a guard in Hollow Bastion. You get a paycheck. You go home to your husband, and then you clock back in the next day. That's really, what is there more to say? Like, you just seem to be living a very happy life. I'm hoping for you. Okay, Xion. This is kind of his connection more so was to Ansem the Wise, so he's definitely probably going to be another one of those support characters. Probably not as prevalent as, let's say, like I said, I think Vexen will have a lot more screen time than Xion this time around. Ienzo might have some. I'm just trying to think, what role can he personally play? He did know a lot about the gummy phone. He was our like point of contact, so he might be the call. He might be the middleman in a lot of phone calls again. We might get a lot more exposition out of him as well, which is totally fine. All right. Sayax, aka Iza, you are going right next to Lee you are definitely pushing the plot forward, because you are now also one of the most interesting characters in Kingdom Hearts, because you have been historically an antagonist, someone that we have been putting boot to ass for years, but now you kind of flipping the script. You was in the ending with all the homies at the beach, like, we're hanging out. It's like that. You tried to kill me 40 times at least, but here we are. His whole lore with Iza right now, and potentially them working together to find out more about the subject X. These two working together is really going to be them working together. First time we're going to see that outside of like organization context, which is so cool. You know, they were friends in a past life. You would hope we would get more screen time with them. I hope, like I said, in between Sora's Worlds and Kingdom Hearts 4, we get some time with other characters, and potentially Iza and Lee working together to discover more about, you know, Subject X or whatever happened to her. That'd be really cool. Demyx he's playable too. All right, he's good. No, I'm just playing. So okay. So Demyx, he's pushing the plot forward. I don't want to say because he's the master of masters, but like, he's the only Kingdom Hearts organization member that has no lore, and that is incredibly suspicious. Right? Everybody is accounted for, from the old to the new organization. In some way, shape, or form, there's something to pull from. He's the only one with nothing. He plays the sitar, he has water, he's lazy, he's a pretty tough boss in Kingdom Hearts if you aren't careful, but we don't know nothing. And that's sus. In Kingdom Hearts, that's sus. In this game, that is suspicious. So I feel like we're gonna learn a lot from him. I'm not gonna put him this high though, because he's definitely not higher than like Lushu, unless he does end up becoming the master of masters. But like, is that what we want? I don't want that. That's I don't know. No, Dance Water Dance. The Dance Water Dance guy has been the true ultimate threat the whole time. Like, no. All right, you are definitely going to be important in some sense. You know what I'm saying? Luke Sword, yes, you're less suspicious, but you're the most newly suspicious of the Kingdom Hearts bunch, because we don't know much about you, but we do know that you're not from here. We know you're not from Kingdom Hearts land. You're out here being Noctis's chauffeur as a part-time while you're working for the organization, allegedly. You guys, what's good with you? That's huge. You can't just do that. You can't be a game secret ending and not think you're not going to play a massive role in the next saga. Also, Kingdom Hearts fans, we cling to everything for dear life. In the fight in the Keyblade Graveyard in Kingdom Hearts 3, Luke Sword gave Sora a card, being like, this wild card is about to go crazy. And we're like, wonder what this is gonna be about. That's a foreshadowing mechanism that we just gonna be waiting for, man. he's definitely going to be playing a big part. I would argue up there with Luxu, because you're talking about Yozora, which, like I said, is a monster. We don't know much about him either, but Luxord is up there as the weird sus man for sure. Oh, Marluxia, you about to get an era crazy, brother, man. So you're gonna go right here. So that's one of the major plot points that I'm trying to bring up to y'all attention too, is Marluxia, Strelitzia, Ventus, Bochinche, right? These, I'm actually gonna put them right next to each other because they're about to be probably spending a lot of quality time with each other, where Marluxia in his previous form, Larium, was a member of the Union Cross group. He is a Keyblade wielder from the past. You know what I'm saying? Like he's from that time with the Master of Masters and the Foretellers. Like he's been there. He's been playing the role of an antagonist to the series the entire time. Of course, I'm gonna mention the sister being in the trailer. His sister's in the trailer. He's coming back, and he's coming back better than ever. I don't know if he's gonna be an antagonist. We don't know if he's gonna be a protagonist. I imagine there will be a point where he's gonna have to turn good if he actually wants to make good with his sister, because from what I'm understanding, Strelitzia just seems nice. She doesn't want no beef with nobody. She just seems like a girl that got murked way before her time. So hopefully she's the bridge to bring Marluxia into the light, bring Larium into the light, and definitely playing a big role in Kingdom Hearts 4. I'm going to put Larxene in this same bracket as well, because she falls under the Union Cross Keyblade Wielders group, where probably not as specific and important as Marluxia because he has a lot of other stuff going on, but she is from this era as well. You know, she is someone who was sent into the future to become a member of the organization eventually. That's so cool. That's so cool. So we're going to get more time with her. That's another one of those. Is she going to be a good guy? Is she going to be just really sassy? We'll probably get more character development time with her, and that's going to be really cool. I'm really happy about that. Roxas. This is the hardest one, and this is the one I'm accepting the reality for, is that Roxas will be in the support role this time around. He has so much lore, but he could also be potentially playable too, because he has a whole build. You know what I'm saying? He has a whole playable build that happened to Remind. The thing about Roxas is that he has won. He has his friends back. He has his home back. The only thing that I could really see him bringing back is the fact that he is Sora's second half. They have that ethereal connection with their light and their darkness and whatever. You know, they are connected better than probably anybody else in the series, on a more like way. But he's done. This man retired from his job, basically threw his old employer into the sun. What else does he need to do? This man needs to be kicking up, you know, with some ice cream, you know, with his homies, chilling. You know what I'm saying? He is also probably going to be someone like, if things really go down, like, we're gonna go get him, because he has hands. That is true. Roxas is the type to not let Lee go through what he's going through alone. Like, I know we're gonna get like Isa and Lee stuff because they are the main point of the Subject X, but Roxas as a character does not seem like the type to let Lee be going on his own. Unless Lee's being sus, which is possible. He could be lying to the children. I think Roxas for now he's probably going to be one of the least interesting characters out of his friend group for this next saga, which is fine in my opinion. Other characters are getting a chance to shine, and Roxas was done so beautifully. Like, I think his arc was wonderful. I loved everything about it. I think like I said, we'll probably get a moment where they connect ethereally, but like more so support. He's a support character for sure. So Repliku, I mentioned this here because I had to put a not appearing somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's so finished, bro. He was so finished when he showed up in Kingdom Hearts 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? At the end of the day, we're like, oh yeah, this character showed up, but that whole thing happened, right? So I don't think we're gonna see him again. Are there any Repliku stands out there who are like, you know what, bring my boy back? I don't know. He left, and I think that was it for him. Goodbye. Okay, next up is Xion. I think Xion is falling into the similar category with Roxas, where she is also going to be a support for Lee and Sayax and whatever they're doing for this Subject X girl. She's also not the type to be like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, she will happily be involved in whatever shenanigans Lee is trying to. She's also just kind of been that character the whole time. She's kind of like, you know what? Sure, I'll do the thing. So yeah, I see her returning in that sense, probably only for support. Like I said, Lee, in my opinion, is the main of the three. Like, he is going to get the most interesting story arc for Kingdom Hearts 4, just based off of where we have been left with him. Chirithy, you are totally coming back, and you are a support character that is going to be pushing the plot forward. You're Chirithy. You are potentially the gateway between everything. You're this little furry little monster. You could be evil sometimes. You may kill us. And there's a bunch of y'all. You know, there's not just one Chirithy. You're gonna be around. You're gonna be pushing us forward, especially when Chirithy sees Sora and be like, "Yo, you're dead, brother. You're dead." He's gonna be like, "What do you mean I died?" He's like, "Did you not hear what I said? You died. You didn't listen. You died." So yeah, Chirithy is definitely pushing the plot forward. Just probably a lot of exposition. So the Foretellers are all going to be present in Kingdom Hearts 4. I just feel like that's something that's self-explanatory based off the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3. They're all going to be there. We don't know if we're fighting them. We don't know if we're against them. They're definitely going to be pushing the plot forward, going to be playing a big part. The reason I added them, I'm going to be adding them all together, is because I feel like they all have equally importance except for one, unless they start revealing their identities, which is her right here. Ava's the one where you're like, okay, what's good? Where'd you go? Why were you not the one showing up? So she is the standout, in my opinion. She is the one that is going to be a bit more interesting to see what she does, because it seems like she might be on our side too. So all of them down here are just kind of chilling what they got to do. Boom, 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 boom. But she did. Sus, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not a part of the time revenge cult. Bring back your ID. I definitely gonna be playing a big part. She's on par with Chirithy in terms. Actually, she might be more interesting with Chirithy's probably gonna be exposition, but like we're gonna learn more about her personal motives more than anything. And these guys down here, like I said, they're just foretellers. We're just happy to see them. We're gonna see them and we're gonna be like, I can't wait to kill you. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be one of those. Every time they're on screen, it's gonna be one of those. I cannot wait to lay hands on you. I said it the most, in my opinion. Now, he was. I'm gonna let the siren pass. Because then it gets in the audio and then I have to like. So yeah, everybody down here is getting clapped in one way, shape, or another, in my opinion. The Master of Masters. I love this picture I chose for him. It's a good one. Definitely pushing the plot forward. He's the main bad guy. It's him. He's the end all be all. He's the reason Xehanort got sent on that whole wild chase to begin with. He's in the trailer too, allegedly. We don't know. That could have been someone else. Actually, I think Nomura said that was Sigurd, which I don't have on this list. Like I said, how are they gonna handle Dark Road and Union Cross? And anyway, oh my God, what are y'all gonna do? What are you gonna do? Anyway. He's definitely, you know, duh, this is another one of those, like, he's the main bad guy. Of course we're gonna be laying hands on him, or he's Sora too. How do you feel about that one? That's that's a theory. That'd be bugged out. I don't know how I'd feel about that one. Woof. All right, Ephemer. So Ephemer has to be pushing the plot forward because of the death of Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. I feel like now Kingdom Hearts 4 has had to do a lot of rewrites where they have had to include a lot more information from the phone game that no longer exists. So these characters that were going to be playing bigger parts in that will need their stories told in some way. No more phone game. No more phone game lore. Why was my man's a statue in the town? What did he do? Like, what was his life like before he ended up hanging it up? You know, we're gonna get a lot about him. He was in Kingdom Hearts 3 as well for like a second, which, so maybe now people are like, oh yeah, that's the guy from Kingdom Hearts 3. Now we have Scold. Scold is a very much pushed. This is tough. Scold is kind of like, we theorize. Scold is a character that was in Union Cross that we are unaccounted for in terms of her location in the modern era, which is incredibly suspicious because, like I said, it's one of those Demyx things where we don't really know much about him in the past, but now she's the one where we don't really know much about her in the present. But she's incredibly important. But like I said, it's a theory. It's a theory. It's not real. We're all crazy. Until it's real, I can't talk like this. But the theory is that Skuld is the girl that Axel and Isa were, you know, hearing in Hollow Bastion. She was the one getting experimented on in Hollow Bastion in the basement. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was the one getting cooked down there. So if they're putting more emphasis on Lee's story and Isa's story to go find her, she has to be the girl. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Outside of that, outside of the theory, she's just very important to the Union Cross saga, the next line of individuals who came after the Foretellers. So she'll probably be making a return. And the fact that she's MIA is sus. It's incredibly. Like I said, everybody's usually accounted for, and if you're not, that's weird. And you should be worried. Strelitzia, I'm not gonna lie, I think they might make her playable. They're giving her a lot of emphasis in Kingdom Hearts 4. The fact that she lives with Sora, and she's also a Keyblade wielder. We need to remember this. We don't know if she's still a Keyblade wielder. She's known to have a Keyblade from Union Cross, so it might be possible that she may get a section, a moment. I don't know, the Heartless are invading her apartment complex, so she has to lock in because Sora went down the block to the 7-Eleven to get some milk. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. She might be playable because of her proximity to Sora, so that's mainly my thing. Like, she has this bum in her house. That I think they'll make her playable. Like I said, they murked the poor girl very early on. Give her a chance to fight. That would be cool, even if it's only for a little bit. She might not be at all. She might just like be her the landlady, and that's it. But who knows? I'm gonna put her there because I haven't put anybody here in a bit. All right, Brain, you're definitely appearing in the same sense as Ephemer. You are in a supremely cooked situation because of what happened with Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, where you were about to, you were in a CG cutscene, brother, and then you got shadow realmed. That's so sad. Like, you know that one where he's like outside of that building and it just looks really cool. Man, that's so sad. He's one of the coolest characters from the Union Cross saga, so he's probably definitely going to be making a return, and they put a lot of effort into him from Missing Link, obviously. So if they're going to be reworking that game into Kingdom Hearts 4, which it sounds like they absolutely need to at that point, because it sounds like that game had very important story stuff, we'll be seeing Brain again. I feel it. I just feel it. Okay, Yozora. I'm going to be putting Yozora in the potentially playable, mainly because of the patterns. Lingering Will was a super hard boss, a really tough boss that you ended up playing as later with Terra. You know what I'm saying? I'm imagining they're going to be doing the same thing with Yozora, where he is a anti-hero in the beginning as far as we know him now, but we all kind of know that he just seems like he's being manipulated and played to take out Sora or whatever situation they're in. They've also talked about making a Verum Rex Kingdom Hearts game, but they focused more on Kingdom Hearts 4. And if there was a Verum Rex game, it's likely that Yozora would have been playable. We'll still get a playable Yozora. Maybe like another small section. Maybe he gets his own like chunk of the game even, because he's an important character. He's the final boss of Remind. Definitely going to be a big part of the next saga. We know very little about him. He's one of the most mysterious characters here. Why does he look like Riku and Noctis, and why is this Final Fantasy 13 verses in 15 again? We know why. Nomura's trauma dumping into this character, and we all need to understand and just let it happen, okay? Still, I hope he's playable. Donald and Goofy, you are definitely pushing the plot forward. We're gonna miss you. Sora is going to miss Donald and Goofy crazy. Their lack of presence in the Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots where you see, Sora fighting the Heartless in the street and there's no Donald and Goofy. You feel that. You feel those moments when you don't have him in the party in the regular games. They're going to be pushing the plot forward heavy, especially for Sora as a character. I don't think they'll be playable. The last time they did that was Days. That was pretty cool. They are the other half of the Sora coin. You know what I'm saying? That's why I put them together, because I didn't want to put Donald and Goofy separately. They're going to be finding their boy together, and they're going to be working at it hard. The fact that we've seen them already in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer looking for the boy. They're cooking. They're cooking. And I'm excited to see what else they end up doing. My dream, if I had a personal, like, my hopes and prayers for Kingdom Hearts 4, is that there is no Donald and Goofy the entire game up until that final world. That, in my opinion, the same way in Kingdom Hearts 2, you just got Riku at the final world. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. I would be like, oh, the fellas. Like, sure, we'll get other Disney characters from the Disney worlds in our party, but no Donald and Goofy until that final moment. Really make us miss them. And then when we finally have them again, we're like, oh, the boys. The fellas, you know what I'm saying? That'd be cool for me. All right, Maleficent, she's definitely in Kingdom Hearts 4. She's graduated from, she's like Team Rocket, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, she will always be there. I don't think she's pushing the plot forward, but she might be kind of an exposition for us, can understand what's going on with the story. It's Maleficent and Pete together, because they, that's really just some Jesse, James, and Meowth energy that they have. Especially the whole narrative with the black box at the end of the Kingdom Hearts 3 ending, like they're gonna be important. They're still doing their homework. They refuse to be pushed aside. They refuse. They're like, we're gonna be in this next game. If they continue to cook about this black box, that'd be cool. Also, there's just a very real reality. Knowing Pete and Maleficent, they're the type to go there. They're the type to be like, we're going to Quadratum. Do I have to remind you of Lion King Pete? They don't respect nothing. All right, they're gonna go out there if they could. And then when you see Maleficent come out the portal looking like a bad, what are we gonna do, man? Anyway, Jiminy Cricket. So Jiminy's in a very, like, he needs to be with Donald and Goofy, and I hope they establish that very early on. But he's not our journal no more. I'm imagining because we're separated from Donald and Goofy, we have no Jiminy Cricket either. Whatever journal or data entry thing that we have to keep track of our notes, I'd be surprised if they even take them on the next journey. Probably, helping Donald and Goofy more than anything. The most helpful Jiminy Cricket has been was in, like, Recom, Chain of Memories. Like, he was on it. That dude was on it. He was like, here's my input. Here's how I feel. Like, he just talked so much, and I loved it. I was like, they really made Jiminy a character. He is a part of the Trinity trio. He's the unspoken fourth, There's Sora, Donald, and Goofy, but Jiminy Cricket is always there. When Sora lost his heart, guess who was with him? Jiminy Cricket in Kingdom Hearts 3, How do we know Jiminy is not with Sora right now? At the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, when we see Donald and Goofy go back to Disney Castle, Jiminy is with them. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think Sora, they separated. That's how I see it. Even in the beach scene and such, I don't think Jiminy's right there in Sora's pocket when he gets Thanos snapped off the beach. All right, Master Yen Sid, you've always been a support, man. He is the exposition dump. He's Mr. Exposition Dump, dude. Talks, brother. He's like, the light and the darkness, and you are the key, and you must fly, and the king, and the Goofy, and Donald. And he's gonna do that again. It took him 15 years to get up from that goddamn chair. He's never doing that again. That was the one time. He is never getting up from that chair again. The worlds are gonna collapse and he's gonna be right there in his chair. They may be able to give him some more lore. They did the best thing they could have did with him was get him off of his ass. Now it's just get him off of his ass again. It's not as exciting. Okay, on the other hand though, this is the most left field. Why? But okay, I'm down. I'm totally with it. Fairy Godmother. In my opinion, Fairy Godmother is going to be very important. Up right here. Fairy Godmother is the reason that they even know where Sora is. They gave this woman mad power in the narrative. She was a character that was just a little bit there in the Cinderella world and it's fine, but she has graduated from another just Disney character into you're a Kingdom Hearts character now, lady. Also, she knows Riku is so gay. Like, she's like, go get your husband, King, I'll help you out. Like, she knows. That's why she even showed up, by the way. In the lore of Cinderella, she only shows up when somebody's in like extreme distress emotionally. And Riku just lost his mans. She popped in. You know what I'm saying? She in my opinion is going to be replacing Merlin as the main like sorcerer. Like they're like, it's like a baton pass type thing with them. Like Merlin played his part, but I think Fairy Godmother is going to be playing the Merlin role of the magic adult keeper in the group type, you know? She's more kind, a little more wise. They could do a little more with the character. Fairy Godmother, she's up there. Yeah, she's up there. Invest in your Fairy Godmother stocks now, y'all. I'm telling you. So I have Squall here. Leon, right? The issue with Leon, they barely included him in Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, he was included as kind of like a, yo, we should put Final Fantasy characters in the game because reviews and a lot of critiques around the game was that they didn't have their presence because they were a big part of the old narrative, and that's fine, but I really don't think he's coming back. In the castle, he might be in a scene. You're basically kind of like the guards now. You're kind of like the guards now. We'll never see a fight with him again. We'll never fight with him again. He's not leaving the crib. You know what I'm saying? Wakka, Selphie, and Titus in the not appearing. They have never showed up again. Sora's friends from the island are dead, brother. I mean, Selphie did. Selphie is more likely to appear than the other two. But like, they do not care about these characters at all. I'm just gonna put them all immediately. Like, just where's Wakka and Titus, bro? We saw Selphie once. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this next one. Cloud and Sephiroth. They are the most interesting Final Fantasy lore in the Kingdom Hearts lore. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of Final Fantasy stuff, but the Cloud Sephiroth one is the one where like, oh my god, for a multitude of reasons. It's been a good boss fight. It's been very flashy, very entertaining. Sephiroth is one of the most iconic villains in all of gaming, but I don't know if they want to touch that again. Nomura was very not trying to include Final Fantasy in Kingdom Hearts 3 and reluctantly included them in the DLC after like tons of requests. I don't know if Cloud and Sephiroth will appear again. Like I said, you can't have one without the other. If they do like a Cloud boss fight or like I said, a Sephiroth boss fight, that would be really cool, but that's where that leaves us. I'm not going to hold you. I think the fan disappointment in Kingdom Hearts 3 for the lack of Sephiroth fight was very loud. I think they heard, because if they complained about any Final Fantasy this and that, a lot of people were upset that there was no Sephiroth fight in Kingdom Hearts 3. That was a big contingency for a lot of people because that was a super boss that people put hours into in the first and the second game. Its absence in the third game was felt. It was very much felt. In the same way that reaction commands, them missing in Kingdom Hearts 3 was also felt. And guess what Nomura's bringing back? Reaction commands. In my head, I feel like the complaints being like, yo, no Sephiroth? That's crazy. How are you not going to include Sephiroth? I think they might hear you and they might include Sephiroth again. Especially, like I said, not even touching the Final Fantasy VII remake bubble. That's just a thing in Kingdom Hearts on its own. Is that Sephiroth fight, son? But like I said, that is up to the discretion of Nomura if he wants to do that. I think it would be really cool. Would you like to see Sephiroth fight in Kingdom Hearts 4? That would be cool. I would love that. I'm going to put that in the not appearing though, because I don't see them appearing. I don't know. Like I said, we have to gauge the Final Fantasy levels once we start getting closer to the game, but we'll see. I think it would be really cool though. Same thing with like Aerith. Aerith is kind of with Squall in the sense where they're probably going to be lingering around Hollow Bastion, you know, talking for a little bit, you know, maybe give a little exposition. That's the thing about Cloud and Sephiroth is like they are more traversal in the worlds, you know. We've seen Cloud elsewhere, but like Aerith and such, they're usually in the core world place where it's like Traverse Town, Hollow Bastion, you know what I'm saying? Maybe in cutscenes for support. Same thing with Yuffie. I feel like, yeah, Yuffie's kind of on that same boat. Final Fantasy VII character mainly hangs out with this group of characters anyway. Will probably show up in a couple cutscenes, but I don't really see playing a massive role in the story. On the other hand, for a Kingdom Hearts character that might be popping up a bit, we're gonna add Moogle. And I don't even mean in terms of like lore or pushing the plot forward, but there is narrative implications of Moogle existing in this universe too. Moogle is like the king of war. In Kingdom Hearts, like he serves everybody. He don't care. He's about his bag. When you were playing Days, they had a member of, there was the 15th member of the organization. There was all 13 plus Xion plus the Moogle shop. He had a cloak and everything. So it's not impossible to think that Moogle will also be just transversal in the way that he just appears in Quadratum as a shopkeeper. Like he's just a war demon. He's just where the bag is. So I feel like Moogle is more likely to appear in any more than any other Final Fantasy character. It's true. He's just about the bread. Tifa's weird. Tifa's weird. Kind of in the same sense as like Aerith, Yuffie, and Leon, but she didn't appear in Kingdom Hearts 3, right? I don't think she did. Even in the DLC. I don't think she showed up. Maybe she did. Maybe I'm tripping and I'm missing it, but she didn't show up in Remind at all. I mean, she's always been kind of doing her own thing and just kind of ties into the lore with Cloud and Sephiroth, but like if there's no Cloud and Sephiroth, there's no Tifa. That's the way I see it. Like her lore was more so with Cloud versus the other individuals of Hollow Bastion. If there's no Cloud, I don't see Tifa either. They're very much intertwined in their narrative. Next one is just funny. I had to include this one because I thought it was hilarious to mention. Zack Fair, definitely not appearing. There's like an inkling of hope from some people where they're like, okay, the young version that appeared in Birth by Sleep was a Zack Fair that was younger and naive. Maybe the one that we get in Quadratum is the one that got gunned down in front of Midgar. You know what I'm saying? They could bring him back. He's dead. That's why we haven't seen him. He's dead. They could. I mean, damn, now I'm kind of like, that's kind of, they could, I'd be down. I like Zack Fair. He's a cool character. Plus, like I said, we're very much in a pushing Final Fantasy VII realm right now. Him being shadow roamed, I think it'd be really cool. I don't see it. I think they're gonna leave it alone. That would be cool though if they did just bring him back. And last but not least, we have Neku and Shiki from The World Ends With You. I kind of put these two characters to kind of sum up all of them together because of the setting of Kingdom Hearts 4. It's Shibuya. And they're not gonna have the boy and the girl with the time hand and we're all gonna die, man. Like they should just be there. They should just be there. Like this is the same city. Quadratum. But like, I don't know. I don't think they'll show up. I think that was the one-time thing, but they hurt the most in a sense where I'm like, okay, you definitely can include them because Shibuya, it's the world. I hope they use them. I hope they use them. I hope they don't miss the opportunity to re-include these characters in their own city, bro. That's like Sora pulling up to New York City and not seeing Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's not nice. Like, you should not be allowed to do that. Well, there we go. We did good work, y'all. I'm very happy with how this came out. I feel like some characters may also be playable, like Aqua, and, you know, because she was playable in Kingdom Hearts 3, so they just have that moveset laying around, so she may be in a potentially playable section, but I am pretty happy with this. Hopefully, like I said, we'll just have to wait and see.